live and it keep popping
There
back
we
to.
go. We're up.
Yeah, it says live.
Ah, yes! Praise be to the Lord. All right.
There you go, my sister. You've done it now.
Yes. All right.
You
Let's
have
make
done
sure.
it.
So
Thumbs
do
up.
I need to? Do I need? Praise be to. Do I need to be? Do I need to press record or anything?
You need, yeah. Make sure you on Zoom that you're recording.
Brother Jahi, can you see whether or not I'm recording on Zoom?
It doesn't look like it.
It's not up yet. And to the
So
business
at the
scientists that's
bottom of the
watching, you get a chance to see the back office events of Mind and Money Matters live show.
no, just at the bottom of the screen on the right side, you should see a little circle saying for record.
Okay, let me do something real quick.
That's on the computer, from your computer.
Right, right. But I need to switch over real quick.
In half a mile, turn right onto Shell Road.
As you all can tell, Sister Shireen is our resident producer, but
Yes.
she decides to go off to Jekyll Island. Look, she's been trapezing. She's been trapezing all over the southeast these last couple of days. And check this out, Al and Leslie. Last year, she left us high and dry. She's off to Dubai 1 week, and then she come back and she said, "Oh, by the way, I'm going to Italy next week." Like, are you for real?
Nice, nice. Well, look, I want to
She
get to
gotta be
Dubai.
able to get away from here sometime. She cannot be always glued in us having all the fun.
Why not?
There you go.
That's not fair.
That's a beautiful blessing.
It is.
Yes, indeed.
It is a
It
beautiful
is.
blessing. So do you see the record button, Sister Sandy?
No, ma'am.
If you make me the host, I can record.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me see if I can do that.
Proceed to the route.
Let me see real quick. Zoom. This is Zoom. Okay, here we go. I think I can do it. In meeting. Okay, here we go. I got it.
I can. There we go. All right.
I see it.
Welcome, business scientists, to another episode of the definitive podcast for Black business bodaciousness, Mind and Money Matters live show. We thank you all so much for tuning in with this. This is a special broadcast for us because, as you see, all of us are out in the field somewhere. Sister Shireen has joined us.
I am not behind the green screen.
That's not a green screen. That's live, right?
See in my background. This is
As
really
you see,
a
all of us are out in the field.
background. Trees are moving by because I'm driving, right? And no, I'm not
You
paying
know-
attention to the road. I'm okay.
Are-
I'm in the passenger seat. So it's
Oh, I was about to say, are you driving?
welcome to Modern Money Matters live show. This is our 21st or 22nd episode. This is the 22nd episode.
22nd
year
of the year.
Yes, 22nd of the year. This is our 4th year. We are very excited to bring to you the science of business so that you can avoid the pitfalls and benefit from the wisdom of the success of those who are actually experiencing both. And they can share with us how to avoid those pitfalls. And Brother Jahi, Mr. Communicator Muhammad, is going to introduce to you our beautiful guest, Brother Jahi.
Oh, yes. And business scientists, I want to thank you all for tuning in again. As I said, we're going to go a little bit out of order that most of you may be used to us because I have a dynamic business couple on with us tonight, and I'm so honored to have them. I've had the opportunity to work with them for the last 3 years at a major conference in Washington, D.C., and the amount of information that I have learned working with them on that capacity and the capacity that they allowed me to work with. I've been in conferences from the front end, on the stage, presenting, to producing my own little conferences and things like that. But for the last 20 years, but by just being with them during this one major conference, it opened my eyes to a whole new world. I was literally mind blown, Sister Sandy, about the intricacies that go into putting on a conference. Now, all of us have been involved with the Savior's Day conference for at least 20 plus years, but each one of us play a small role, with Brother Al and Sister Leslie of Rutherford and Associates, a Dallas, Texas-based event management, conference management firm. I got chance to see stuff that goes on at a conference that I didn't know existed. I had not operated on that level before. So, and I'm thinking, look, these are Black people that are handling business like this. It was just absolutely phenomenal. So a little bit of background about Al Rutherford. He has years of experience in the hotel industry, managing hotels in the United States as well as Saudi Arabia and other countries. And then he had the pleasure and opportunity to work for one of the presidents of the United States. Now I'll let him tell you which one that was, where he traveled around the world with that particular president, handling the trips and things like that. And I got a chance to work closely with his associate, Leslie, and Leslie opened my eyes to the aspects of putting on a conference from A to Z. I mean, I can't tell y'all just how I'm sitting there going, wow, I didn't know all of this went into, and they're very thorough, very professional. And I was able to when the last conference we worked together in February. Let me tell you all just how forward I am. I'm looking forward to working with them. I had an event going on here in Atlanta. I was working with the Super Bowl. We had a contract with the Super Bowl, and it was a pretty long contract, couple of weeks that we were doing it, but it interfered with my time that I spend with Al and Leslie in DC. So I left Atlanta early. I got one of my guys that works with me, been working with me for a long time, and had him manage that particular team that we had working at Super Bowl 53. I said, look, I got to go to DC. It's Bay Area conference time. So working with Al and Leslie of Rutherford and Associates. So, and they're trapezing all over the country. We were able to get them on. They committed to today, and they came in from plane delays and stopped by the house, packing clothes, and on their way back out again. And they are gracing us with this opportunity to learn from masters in the conference management field. Please welcome business scientists to Mind and Money Matters live show, Al Rutherford and Leslie Mitchell Rutherford. Welcome to Mind and Money Matters live show.
Hey, Brother Jaheed, thank you very much. On behalf of Rutherford and Associates and Leslie and I, we're very pleased to be with you.
Oh, brother, the honor is all. I don't know if y'all can tell I'm floating right now. Because as I was telling Sister Shireen and Sister Sandy, who are my business partners in Master the Science of Business, LLC, we operate a business consultancy where we help businesses go from wherever level they are, whether it's the thought stage, all the way up to the next dimension. So I was telling them, I said, I'm so giddy because these two right here, as Cat Williams would say, and to have you all on the show. So let me just go, because I know your times is limited. I just want to get right into it. How long have you had Rutherford and Associates?
Brother Jaheed, Rutherford and Associates was founded in late 1990. So we're wrapping up our 29th year. Next year, we'll have been in business for 30 years. 1990,
what were you like, 12, 13 when you started the business?
I wish I could say that.
Wow.
This gray hair tells me that it was a little bit more than
what
that.
Gray? Brother, I have not seen any gray on your head.
I try to keep it cut pretty close.
Okay, yes, sir. 30 years, coming up on 30. So when we see you again in February, you'll be celebrating your 30th year anniversary in business.
Yes, sir. That's right. Absolutely.
Wonderful. So what led you into the the hospitality industry?
Well, when I graduated from college, I graduated with a degree in advertising and public relations. And I was
What?
actually at a yes, sir, yes, sir. I was at a lunch. I was contemplating going into advertising, and I
Yes,
had
sir.
an interview with a fellow from a Dallas ad agency, and it was maybe my second or third interview. And he said to me, he said, you know, the people at the agency really like you, but they're concerned about whether or not you'll be able to connect with Middle America. And that
Middle
was a code
America.
word. Yeah, that was a code word.
Middle America. Yes, yes.
And I said to myself, this ain't for me. And I had worked on the conference staff at my university during the summers. My family had been very active in the hotel business, and so
Mm.
it was just something very very comfortable to me. And I said, well, I'm going to go into the hotel business with the idea of getting into public relations. And when I did my thesis as a senior, it was to design a public relations campaign for a hotel. And so
Okay.
I took that information and knowledge and began talking to various hotel companies. And I ultimately decided to go on into the hotel business. And that's how I got my start.
Wow, fantastic, fantastic. And Leslie, is your background similar? I think I remember reading somewhere where you started. You were in Orlando working for the Conventions Bureau, was it, or the hotels?
A little bit of both, actually.
Okay,
Spent a
okay.
number of years working for the convention center, the second largest convention center in the country, of course, and also with the Visitors Bureau there. And also had an opportunity to work with one of the large hotels, the Walt Disney World Swan and Dolphin. So had a good round of experience in the hospitality side.
Sounds great. Now, having, as we say, I'm originally from Mississippi, right? And we always, growing up, it was always about getting that good job. So you had the good jobs. What was the motivation, the driving force for you all to leave those quote unquote good jobs and strike out on your own? Those are the questions that come up. You know, that's a scary transition for all of us. But so to leave something that could be seen as cushy, you know, if you make the right moves, you move up, and you can be living pretty well, but you leave that to start your own business. What's the motivation behind that?
Well, Brother Jahi, I got to tell you, I come from a line of entrepreneurs.
Okay,
And
wonderful.
my grandfather, who I give a lot of credit to, when he was, you know, a young man in the 1920s and 30s, he had all the typical businesses that a black man could have at that time. He had a pool hall, he had a barber shop, he had a restaurant. And my mother always told me a story about him that he lived to cut down on his expenses. He lived above the
Yes,
pool hall,
yes,
and
yes, yes.
he could listen to the number of times that there were breaks on
Uh-huh.
those pool racks and know how much money he should have in the register. So we stayed in certain businesses, and you know, I always grew up with that entrepreneurial spirit. And I was, you know, I was working with Marriott Hotels. I was working with a meeting planner, and you know, she said, "Have you ever thought about event management?" And I said, "Well, you know, maybe down the line." And we began to talk about it, and she said, "You know, hey, there's an opportunity for you here." And I said, "Well, let me think about it." And I considered it, and I said, I'm gonna take a chance. I'm gonna go out on my own. I'm gonna, you know, see if I can make this work. I can always go back and get a job, but if this opportunity is for me, I don't want to miss it. I want to take advantage of it.
That takes guts right there. That takes guts. So you decide to strike out on your own. What was step number one? And what I'm asking the question for those that are listening that are thinking about starting a business, you know, along the lines of something that they're either passionate about, they have expertise in, they're looking to do for self, as we're taught. So what's step one? You make the decision. okay, I'm going to start my business? What's step one?
Step one for me was really twofold. One was to get the legal framework done, but also to begin to engage in some serious marketing, because I had one client, but now I needed to expand that out. So handle your legal side, get your either incorporation or your DBA, or whatever. LLCs were not as popular as they are today back then, but figure out what your structure is, because that's going to be important as you move forward. And then also it's about, in this environment, is you eat what you kill.
Right.
And so
right.
you have to be a hunter. You have to have that hunter mindset. When you get up in the morning, you have to get up with the idea that, I'm going to go out and I'm gonna get mine today.
Man.
You got to get up that way every day.
Oh, wow.
Every day. And so you're either marketing or selling, or you have to service what you sell, but always take care of your business. Be focused and handle your legal work and get that done and get it out of the way.
You just don't know how happy I am that you said that. That's one of the services that we offer with with Master Science of Business. The umbrella company that we have. Because what I find, Al, is so often that we are afraid of the paperwork. And I don't want to talk in circles. When I say we, I mean the Black community. That's our primary clientele. We are afraid of the paperwork. I don't know if you see the screen, but we've been joined by Brother Albert Muhammad. Brother Albert is in the travel industry. And he's also, I call him the P. Diddy of the Southern region, because he throws parties, right? He throws business type cultural events, and they are absolutely fabulous. And he invited us to present at one of his events a few months ago, called the Tuesday Financial Social. So we presented on starting your business. And the biggest obstacle that people face is when we talk about how you structure sole proprietorship, LLC, incorporated. If you are incorporated, which one of those? Do you have a lawyer on your team? Do you have a accountant on your team? Doing your EIN, getting your business license, so that you and I can position ourselves to actually do business. Going from the mom and pop street corner hustle, which I don't have any problem with, because I think it's a great training ground. But at a certain point, you don't want to always do that, because you want to run a business. Not like what you were saying before we came on the air. You're going to fly into Atlanta. You're going to take a look around to what you got going on. Then your team, under Leslie's direction, is going to handle what they need to handle. Then you off and doing other things as a managing partner or business owner needs to do. So I'm just so glad that you shared that aspect. So you started with that one contract and marketing. And this is a loaded question. How did you decide what industry you wanted to focus your conference management in?
Well, I went with what I knew the most about.
Good deal.
And when I was at the Convention and Visitors Bureau, my focus was scientific and engineering related organizations. So I had a Rolodex and relationships with various individuals in that space. And I said, well, that's where I'm going to focus my time, my efforts, my energy, to develop those relationships and to explain that, hey, I'm here. I think I can offer a valuable service. Let's have a conversation.
Wow. Just like that.
That was
it. So my background is sales. I sold everything. You name it, I probably have sold it. Only thing I have not sold is insurance and drugs. Those are probably the only two things I have not sold. Everything else, and I haven't done real estate, but insurance, real estate, and drugs, have not done that. Everything else I've done. The ratio. So if you talk to 20 of those organizations in the engineering space, how many of those would you close in order to get the business? And what's the business cycle like? You know, in the car business, we're probably looking at 3 to 4 weeks, depending on the finances of the person. It could be shorter than that, but generally 3 to 4 weeks. Other services I've sold, like training programs, that could take months. You know, it could be a 3-month cycle to close a customer in a training solution. So with the conferences, what's the closing ratio and what's the closing cycle like?
Well, a couple of things, Brother Jahi. If you talk to 10 potential clients, you may close 2 to 3, which is a 20 or 30%.
Right.
And but our cycle is very long because what you're talking about is trust. You have to establish trust with the client. Now, we're very fortunate because a lot of our business is referral. It's word of mouth. It's people who have seen us working or have asked that person, hey, who's handling your conference or your event? Who's the producer here?
Yeah.
And so we tend to get more, we like I said, we've been in business now for almost 30 years. So we tend to get the call now as opposed to, you know, us
having to call.
To going out as much as we used to. So we're very blessed in that regard. But the real focus and the time is maintaining the reputation. And the key element that Leslie brings is the training that she imbues on the team and the ability to provide that oversight so that I can still position the firm and market the firm. It's just done a little differently now. It's because I sit on a number of, you know, advisory boards and things of that sort within the industry that I come in contact with people now who can use the service and come in contact with them from a unique position. Instead of me saying, hey, can we do some business with you? They're coming to me saying, hey, I want to pick your brain on this, that, or the other. And we then have a conversation and say, well, this is how we would look at resolving that problem. And then we have a follow-on conversation that could lead to a business relationship. But it's all based on the fact that I can get out and have those conversations knowing that the reputation is safe, the brand is safe, that Leslie is educating the team and then supervising the work that is being done. So it's a real partnership.
That is absolutely phenomenal.
The critical component.
That is absolutely phenomenal. So, and our brother Albert and Sister Sandy, feel free to jump in here. I know our time is limited with Al and Leslie. So if you have something that you want to extract from them, just jump right in. Cause I can talk to them all day.
Yeah, I know.
I got like 12 questions in my head.
We thank them so much for their patience with us today and their phenomenal time. Brother Jahi has been so excited about getting you all on. So I'm so excited that you're on. I would like for you, if you could, just for a moment, touch on the marketing piece. Do you all do any marketing? What type of marketing do you do? What percentage of your budget is designated to marketing? And how do you keep up with the data with reference to your marketing efforts?
All excellent questions. And so I would define, you know, there's the traditional marketing, i.e. The website. And that is a very important tool. But I'll be honest with you, when we're at a show, it's the work that we're doing and the brand that we carry, because you'll see us and we'll have on the RNA lapel pin, or we'll have on the RNA pocket name badge, or, you know, we may have the RNA water bottle. All of those things are designed to help have a conversation. People will say to me, you know, hey, what does that RNA stand for? Well, that's my opportunity to introduce them to the firm. And so I'll begin to tell our story. So you have the website, you have word of mouth, you have, you know, soft marketing that we do. And when we talk about an overall budget, our budget on marketing is pretty substantial, because we look at, you know, when we take a person out to dinner or when we travel to a different location to promote the firm. I mean, that's all about marketing. You know, it's the look of your card. It's the way in which you conduct business. It is all encompassing because you are selling and marketing a brand, and that is what you are trying to have a real contact and meaningful relationship with people. It's about the brand. And see, I always explain that we are less transaction focused and more relational. We're a much more relationship based organization, and that's what turns the phone calls that we get or the word of mouth into the actual, business that we do. That's kind of how we approach it.
Fantastic.
Now,
Also
Leslie's gonna have to leave us shortly.
I'm gonna run into the other calls though.
Okay,
all right, thank you, Leslie.
Thank you.
For another call, and so I'll be the only one with you for the next couple of minutes.
Okay, yes, sir. Appreciate it. So what I was thinking about too, to part of the answer to your question too, Sister Sandy, about the marketing, everything that Al talked about. He's also a very dapper dresser as well. So I know, like when I first saw him, I didn't know he was my boss, right? Leslie was my direct contact. So I was working closely with Leslie, but I saw this brother walking down the hall. I'm like, with a man with a suit like that, he got to be somebody important, right? Then later on that evening, I found out that he was my boss. So I'm like, oh, okay, brother.
That's a phenomenal marketing piece in itself.
Right. Oh yes, because it draws attention. And now, mind you, we're at a conference with 7,000 other people, a lot of engineers. So everybody in there, got money and dressed real nice. But he was able to. He stood out. Let me put it like that. That's part of the branding.
Brother Jahi, you're very kind.
I just record what I see, brother. Just record what I see. So you touched on some very key points, Al. Man, I thank you so much, because these are the things that as business people we need to know, and especially as growing our business. You said we're marketing and selling. You always got to be marketing and then servicing. Those are the 3 steps of business: marketing,
right.
Servicing, selling. Marketing, servicing, selling. Marketing, servicing, selling. So you've done something for me. Giving me some ideas, some things I have to brush up on that angle. So you began to grow your business. When do you decide, okay, now it's time to bring on other people? And to that, where are you now? How many employees do you have, and how many conferences are you doing a year?
Okay, when I left the White House, as you mentioned, I was part of the Clinton administration, and I knew that there was an opportunity for me to grow the business after leaving the White House. And so I put my focus and my time and attention on that. And, I'm very blessed, very fortunate that we have grown to be one of the largest African-American owned event management, event production firms in the country. And
wonderful.
We have a full-time staff of about 20 here in the Dallas office. And then we have a number of independent contractors that we use to bolster the teams when we need to. So that gives us scalability. For example, if we're doing a pharmaceutical event, you'll have a core team coming out of Dallas, but we may need an additional 20 people. So we're able to scale up on like a new product launch and then bring that overhead back down. When we talk about conferences in a year, we're going to do somewhere between 70 and 80 conferences in a year. We're typically doing almost 1 to 2 a week of various sizes. Obviously, our largest ones are in the 15 to 20,000 range. But we also are in that conference range of about 4,000, 5,000, 8,000, 10,000. And then we have some other smaller meetings that we're doing for clients that are, at that 400, 500,000 level.
That, as Sister Shireen would say, is phenomenal. Now, I'm mind blown right now, because I see what goes on at a 5, 6, 7,000 member conference such as BEA and the intricacies of that. And you have conferences that are 4 times that size that you all
Yes, sir.
manage?
Yes, sir. Yes, we're very fortunate. We've been able to help, our clients grow. We've been a part of that success. And that's also a big part of the conversation is, how do you help the client grow the show? If it's 5,000 today, they want it to be at 10,000 at some point, and we try to work with them to craft that growth plan, because we recognize that we can only be successful if they're successful.
Al, may I ask a question? Is it necessary initially for you to sit down with the planner of each conference first to figure out what their needs are, or is it just through email, or how do you initiate the process?
Good
Absolutely.
question.
We have to, and great question, my brother. We have to, in what we call really our onboarding process, we sit down with the client and understand, what does success look like to you? What is it? What is because see, we have to understand, an event, a conference is solely a vehicle by which you drive a message. And conferences and events have to have something greater than just coming to a meeting room and sitting down. There has to be some type of reason, some type of rationale. And so what we want to do is understand, what is the message? What are you trying to communicate about the entity or the organization that is going to affect people? It's going to connect with people, so that you're able to communicate with them what your message is, and then ultimately, what is the action that you want them to take away from that conference or event. So it's working with the client strategically to understand what their success factors are, what is it that they're trying to communicate, and then how do we develop and design a game plan or a strategy to execute on that vision.
Yes, sir.
And you have team members that partake of that. I'm sorry, Sandy, what you say?
No, I was just saying I had a follow-up to that.
Sure.
Yeah, yes, sir. Could you just share with us, what is one of the most interesting opportunities have you had to work with somebody? And the reason that I wanted to ask that question is because sometimes when a client want to do something or have this idea for something, logistically, sometimes it just doesn't make sense or what have you. So what is one of the most unique situations that you've worked in?
Well, you raise a very good point. And a lot of what we have to do is around expectation management as well, because a client may have an idea about an event that they want to do. And I'll tell you, especially if it's a first time event, the first 2 questions that I ask, and that all of my people ask, is, if somebody comes to us and says we want to do an event, first 2 questions that we ask is, do you have a program and do you have a budget? Because if you have a program but don't have a budget, we can pretty much guide you and help you fill in those gaps. Or if you say, I've got a budget, but I don't know what my program is going to look like. And I've always said, if someone believes that they know more about event production and event planning than I do, or than we do, then you got the wrong event planner. And so you have to understand that you have to, quite often the client may have one particular idea around where they want to go. And because of experience, you may say, well, you can try that, but we've seen other situations where that was done and it wasn't successful. And here are the reasons why it wasn't successful. And so you have to try and provide the client with your knowledge and your experience, but not stifle, their desire and their creativity. But you do have to engage in some expectation management. Because, I've had clients that have said, listen, I want to do this event for 5,000 people, and we are, 30 days or 60 days or 90 days out. And I have to go, well, that's not really going to be possible this year. But if we bring this down to this size, I think we can execute on this, and then we will put you in a position next year to grow off of that momentum. So
That's phenomenal. That is truly phenomenal.
Depends. Thank you, my sister. It depends on, what are they bringing to the conversation? What are their expectations? And, how receptive are they going to be to professional help? Because, some people say they want that professional help, but when they get it, they're not ready for it.
Right. I agree with you on that one. Al, I know you got to go, but I got two. The last two questions are coupled together.
Okay.
The big L and the bigger W. The big L. That one business thing that you went after and it didn't work out quite the way you had in mind for it to work out. What was it, if you don't mind sharing, how did you overcome it? And then the big W that you start out saying, as entrepreneurs, we have to be hunters. So you went out and you scoped it out, you plotted, you planned, you went after it, and you got the deal.
Well, Brother Jahi, I always believe that I learn more from the losses.
Okay.
We enjoy the wins, but I think we really learn from the losses. And I remember pursuing a piece of business, and it was early on in my career with the firm, and I thought I knew what the client was looking for, and I made some assumptions about what they wanted. Okay. And I was unsuccessful in getting the business. And when I asked the question, what could I have done differently? What should I have done? And the comment was just that. You thought you knew where I was going, or you thought you knew what we wanted to do, and you came in with this plan, but I had not done enough research. I had not asked the right questions.
Asking questions.
Because of that, I missed an opportunity. But I can tell you that has not been repeated.
Okay.
I asked the questions now, and it was a little bit because, I felt like, maybe I shouldn't get into this person's business, or maybe, I can just kind of figure it out. Ask the question. If you are spending the time to put a proposal together, take the time to ask the questions. My father had a saying. He said, wisdom and knowledge are great things, but with all that gettings, get
the understanding. Yes.
And that's the truth. And so when I pursue business now,
that's biblical right there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it is. Absolutely. And so I ask those questions now. I'm not shy about asking those questions. If I think they're hard questions, I may say, well, listen, I know this may be a little uncomfortable, but I do need to ask this question, because I was a little concerned about asking specifically about budget.
Yes, sir. Okay?
How much money did you have to spend? How much money, how many resources were you able to commit? And that's a significant question. That's why I say,
yes.
People are trained. All of my people are trained to say, what is it that you are looking to do with this program, and what is your budget? Because
yes, sir,
your budget is going to inform and influence what your program is.
Wow, that's a T-shirt right there, Sister Sandy. That's a T-shirt. That's a T-shirt slogan right there. Your budget is going to
yes, indeed,
inform, and what was the other verb?
And influence.
And inform and influence. Okay, your budget will inform and influence. Oh, those are some jewels right there. Those are some jewels. Al, I know you got to go. Thank you so much. Brother Albert, did you have a question for Brother Al before he leaves, or Sister Sandy? You have a closing question?
No. I mean, what he presented was phenomenal.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing. Look, Al, I see the natural teacher in you too. I see the lessons you used to teaching. I can tell that aspect.
It's what I'm supposed to do now at this stage in my career is be about, bringing more people that look like us into the
Mm-hmm.
hospitality and events industry. And I should be sharing, with people who are interested. How do you get from here to there, and imparting hopefully a little bit of what I have gained over 30 years. So I'm not going to call myself a teacher or a professor, but I am certain, because I'm learning every day too, still.
Yes, sir.
But I'm certainly happy to sit down with folks who are interested in the industry, look like us, and
Mm-hmm.
share some of my experiences so that they don't make the same mistakes that I did, and so that they can go
Right.
farther and faster and higher than I have, because I simply stand on the shoulders of people who came before me. And now it's my opportunity to bring people along and to lift them up.
Well, beautiful. Now, see, you should have did that. Now I got 8 other questions, but I only asked one. Did you have a mentor when you decided to start or somewhere along the building of your business? Did you have a mentor in the industry? And have those who are coming after you, have they sought out your expertise for mentorship?
Well, interestingly enough, yes, I did have a couple of folks in the hospitality industry that I expected, but the transition from being on the hotel side to being a business person and being an entrepreneur is a little different. So I then began looking at entrepreneurs,
Mm-hmm.
business people, and taking some of their guidance, because what I realized was good business practices and good business principles are good across industry. So
Yes, sir.
for specific areas of knowledge, yes, I can pick up or used to pick up phone and get on the phone with somebody and say, listen, this is what I'm looking at. This is what I'm thinking about on this hospitality issue. But what I wanted to do was to broaden my knowledge and focus more on what are the keys of business that I need to be
Mm-hmm.
thinking about, and part of that is how they don't teach you a lot in business school, as I understand, about cash
Yes.
flow, but cash flow is
Yes.
critical in your business.
Yes.
And so, that's
Amen.
one of the things,
Amen.
that's one of the things I try to impart upon, young people who are venturing out, because I'm in a unique position. I sit on, as I said, a number of different advisory boards, and I get called on to speak at different industry events and things like that. And so when young people come up, I try to take the time to answer their questions, give them my card, and let them know, listen, if you got some questions, feel free, give me a holler. I'll be happy to spend the time with you. And so that's what we try to do.
Man, absolutely phenomenal. Like I said, I got 12 more questions I could ask you, but I know you have other business to attend. We thank you again on behalf of Mind and Money Matters Live show, Sister Sandy, Sister Shireen, myself, and our special guest co-host for this month, Brother Albert Muhammad. And those that the people are tuning in, they're writing us little notes, and they thank you for the information that you're sharing is absolutely invaluable. So I can never thank you enough for that. And I want to say, and Sister Sandy usually does this, but the doors are open at any time. I may send out another invitation to you for the month of Ministry of Education, so you can continue to teach, because you're dropping some great jewels, and there's some other things I want to delve into with your business, because it's a fascinating aspect for me, and to last 30 years, that is just absolutely phenomenal. But we'll reserve that. Don't want to wear my brother out. So I want you to say yes when I invite you back.
Brother
It's
Jahi,
about relationships.
I appreciate you, and just want to take this opportunity again to thank you and the brothers and sisters for putting on this. I mean, what you are doing is exactly what our community needs. We need to be exposed to entrepreneurship, and I believe it was Minister Farrakhan who said that politics without economics is source without substance.
Yes.
Symbol without substance.
Yes.
I
Yes,
believe
sir.
so we have
Yes,
to
sir.
be about our business, and what you're doing is right in line with doing just that. So I thank
Well,
you,
thank you
and I
so
thank
much
your
for that.
entire team for allowing me to come on and to have Leslie here as well. And so when
Oh,
you
absolutely.
call,
Yes.
you know, you
Thank
can
you.
count on us being there for you, my brother. Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank
Safe
You too.
travels.
you.
And hit me up when y'all touch down in Atlanta. When are you leaving? You're leaving Thursday?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. But hit me up when you touch down. We may have a chance to get a cup of coffee on Thursday. That's when I'll be free. Ramadan will be over with
Yes, sir.
tomorrow.
I
So I
know.
should be able to drink some coffee during the daytime. Yeah, thank you so much, sir.
Absolutely.
All
Absolutely, my
right.
brother. Be
Al
blessed.
Rutherford of Rutherford and Associates, a Dallas, Texas-based event management and producing company. So, business scientists, thank you. Those of you who've been tuning in, you just witnessed one of the dynamic business people among us. And we started out with Brother Al. We didn't do our traditional opening because very busy man, 70 to 80 conferences a
Oh,
year. Every
yeah.
time I've talked to him over the last few days, he's on a plane. He's either about to get on a plane, getting off of a plane, traveling to different cities around the country to do their business. So absolutely phenomenal. But you are tuned in to Mind and Money Matters live show. I am Jahi, Mr. Communicator Muhammad, and this is the definitive podcast for Black business bodaciousness. And you have just witnessed one of the bodacious Black business owners among us. But as we start out every episode, the final call. As you heard Brother Al reference something that he heard the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan talk about pertaining to business. So the newspaper, the news organ of the Nation of Islam, the final call, the latest issue is Reparations 2020. Reparations 2020. You want to get your latest issue of the final call newspaper. If you're in Atlanta, you can go by Muhammad Mosque number 15, which is the Southern Regional Headquarters of the Nation of Islam, and get your copies of the Final Call newspaper. Matter of fact, we'll be there this evening, so you can stop by this evening if you're watching this podcast on Monday evening. Also, if you're in Southwest Atlanta, you can stop by Cafe Ulu at 2036 Sylvan Road, Cafe Ulu, right there near the intersection of Sylvan Road and Georgia 166. If you're on the east side of town, you can stop by in downtown Lithonia. You can go to the Black Dot Cultural Center. The Black Dot Cultural Center in downtown Lithonia. See Brother Kazimde, Baba Kazimde. Tell him you're stopping by to pick up your copy of the Final Call newspaper, as well as browse the books and other Black-owned artifacts that he has. Sister Shireen's books are in the Black Dot Cultural Center. So if you're looking for Little Sweet Khadijah or Why I Wear My Headpiece or I Am the Seed of Greatness, he has all of those at the Black Dot Cultural Center, in addition to the Final Call newspaper. I think he's selling bean pies now as well. He has the nation's bean pie from Chicago, the Supreme bean pie out there also. And picking up Final Call, for those of you who are a lot more millennial minded and you want yours electronically, you can go to Final Call Digital, finalcalldigital.com, finalcalldigital.com, and subscribe. They have a special going on. Man, I wish I could come up with another name. There's a 99-cent subscription for 1 month, digital subscription of the Final Call newspaper. 99 cents. Man, but you have to be a newcomer, brand new to Final Call subscription. I've been subscribing ever since they had a subscription thing going on, so I can't partake. Albeit it's only $5.99 for a subscription, online subscription. So go. Those are some of the places. Oh, if you're on the south side of town, Riverdale area, you can go to the intersection of Georgia 138 and Georgia Highway 85. The Clayton County Study Group is out there every day from 11 o'clock to about 5 o'clock p.m. with your latest issue of the Final Call newspaper. So those are some of the places in the Atlanta metropolitan area that you can pick up your paper. If you're anywhere else in the country that's watching this broadcast, there's an FOI and an MGT somewhere near you. There's a Muhammad Mosque somewhere near you under the divine leadership of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. If you don't know where they are, you want to find out, give me a call and we'll point you in the right direction.
Also, they
404
can go to NOI.org.
NOI.org. They have the list there, right? NOI.org, or give us a call at Master Science of Business, 404-438-3156. But yeah, you can hit that, go online, NOI.org. and find where you can get the final call. And it's the first of the month. You know what that means. Economicblueprint.org. Economicblueprint.org. 5 cents a day, 35 cents a week, $1.40 a month. Come on, y'all. 16 million of us do that. That's $291,200,000 in a 12-month period of time so that we can buy land, and other resources to go along with that to become a more sustainable and viable nation. A nickel a day. So go to economicblueprint.org. And I had some other things I want to share, but due to time, I've been talking a lot. So I want to bring up my guest co-host and my co-host first. And we'll bring up our guest co-host so we can get into this month of the Ministry of Arts and Culture. That's the ministry that we're highlighting for the month of June. So we have, you heard at the beginning of the program, you heard her screaming and hollering and being jovial like she always is, screaming in a good sense. Very happy. The most, what's the word? What's the big word I'm looking for, Sandy? Jovial. The most jovial person that I know, always upbeat. She helps me because I'm not that upbeat all the time. But when her spirit is infectious, she is the ergo-kinesiologist of Master of Science of Business. So she knows how to manipulate energies and get you out of that rut that you may be in to bring you up to a higher tone scale so we can be more productive. From Soul Wisdom International and from Your Life Center in Forest Park, Georgia, Sister Sandy Buford Muhammad.
Thank
Salam
you
alaikum,
so
ma'am.
much.
Ramadan Mubarak.
Salam, Ramadan Kareem. Oh my God, this show has been so profound to me. And Brother Jahi and Brother Albert, we're always putting on events. So to have someone to come on and give us some insight on the proper way to do that, that's like exciting. So,
Yes.
some type of way, Brother Jahi, we got to work it out to where we can definitely get him back on and we can get additional pointers about how to appropriately, events. We really need to do that. I think you would agree with me, Brother Albert, because you're always doing something. So
Like I call Albert, he's the P Diddy of the Southern region. Yeah.
Yes, when we can streamline it and we can cut some stuff that's unnecessary and only bring in what is necessary and have the budget. I mean, I'm excited. I am tremendously grateful for that. So we have our Reiki workshop that's coming up this Sunday. We have a few slots available. Hopefully, Sister Shireen will be back. She will be our guest of honor in celebrating her birthday there. So if you are interested, please go to soulwisdomintl.com and you click on the event tab and you can register if we have some more seats by the time you get there. If not, we have another one coming up next month. And that's pretty much it. I'm just excited. So, Brother Jahi, come on and bring up our brother Albert on in so we can talk a little bit and have some questions for him as well.
Oh, absolutely. And I see Brother Kalanji is in the queue too, so we
All
can
right.
bring him in as well.
Yes,
But Mind the Money Matters, business scientists, we are honored to this month. As those of you who've been following the show know, every month we highlight one of the 9 ministries that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan advanced to the world in 2005 at the Millions More movement in Washington, D.C. Sister Sandy, Sister Shireen, and myself are the points of contact here in Atlanta for the Ministry of Trade and Commerce. And we showcased that last month, the month of May. The month of June, we highlight the Ministry of Arts and Culture. So it is our pleasure to have a special guest co-host this month, Brother Albert Muhammad. And you've heard me reference this, and I'm saying this because I see the business side of what he does, as well as the spirit of what he brings. I reference him as, and I thought of it just a few moments ago, the first time I said it, call him the Puff Daddy of the Southern region when it comes to putting on events. That's because you all remember, those of you old enough to remember, back in the day when we first heard of Puff Daddy, he brought the energy to his events. Brother Albert brings the energy to the events that he is behind. It's a righteous, spiritual energy. We had the honor, and I consider it a privilege too that he asked, participated in an event that he put on in February and March, the Tuesday night financial social. So he invited Sister Shireen, Sister Sandy, and myself to present on the topic of starting your business. Absolutely phenomenal. Every week there was a different theme for the 7 weeks. I tried not to miss. I had to go out and do business, so I missed a couple of weeks. But I'm watching it online, and then I couldn't wait when I got back in town the Tuesday night. So I got to the point where, like, man, when it was over with, what I'm gonna do next Tuesday? Don't have an event to go to. And he is also the producer of the iftars during Ramadan, dynamic event. Those who are participating in Ramadan are coming to the mosque for iftar on Tuesday nights, and also they're producing an event this weekend for the Eid as we finish up Ramadan. But a brother who came into Atlanta, Sister Sandy, and just been working, ever since he got off the banana boat.
Yes,
He been
sir.
he's
Yes,
been
sir.
working. He's been working so diligently that one year, I think it's probably his second year in Atlanta, he is the FOI of the year of the Southern Region.
That is what it's
He,
about. When
he
you
came
come, you
in,
come in. That's right. That's how you come.
came
Praise
in, and we're happy to be a part of a lot of things that he's doing. So please welcome business scientists to Mind and Money Matters live show. Our special guest co-host this month doing the Ministry of Arts and Culture, because he is the POC, the point of contact for the Ministry of Arts and Culture here in Atlanta. Brother Albert Muhammad, assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam, sir. And man,
Ramadan Mubarak.
Ramadan Kareem.
Welcome back to Mind and Money Matters live show. We had you on briefly in February, I think it was, to promote the Tuesday Financial Social. So now you got the whole month.
Praise be to Allah. Just one correction. It was actually a mango boat that I came on.
Oh,
But it wasn't a boat full of
not
mango.
a banana boat.
Not a
Okay,
banana.
mangoes.
That was
Mango,
Harry Belafonte, I think, that was on the
Okay, on the banana boat. Okay, gotcha. Yes, sir. I stand corrected.
I think I came on the boat.
You wouldn't happen to still have some of those mangoes, would you?
Hey, that's my favorite. That's why I was on that one. But look,
Yes,
I want
sir.
to just thank you all for what you all did for the financial socials that we did starting. That financial social we started on February 26th, which is, of course, Master Fard Muhammad's birthday, and we ran it for 7 weeks. And through your constant live streaming of it and promotion of it, it not just brought more people. I've sent the blueprint down to Miami, to the regional captain in Miami.
Oh, praise is due to Allah.
But through that, there were people right in the local area that saw it, and then from that, I've got some business from that, because
praise is due to Allah.
Yeah, even though it's arts and culture, everything we do has to have a business or mathematical underpinning of it.
Yes.
Able to function. If you're in the Ministry of Science and Technology, if the business side of it is not right, you won't be able to research or get test tubes.
Right.
What funding do you have to accomplish science and technology? And
right.
So from your live streaming, I have a transportation business also. I picked up.
Yes, sir. Thank you for mentioning that.
From that, for the transportation business, and that was just an honor. So I want to just thank you all for what you all accomplished.
Oh, praise is due to Allah.
You all are consistently now for what, 3 years have been
3.5 years. 3.5 years. Yes, sir.
3.5 years. So since I came to Atlanta.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So I want to thank
you. And thank you for sharing that testimony, because that's exactly why we started the platform, to highlight and showcase those brilliant business minds among us, and also to with the ministries that the minister advanced to us to run a government, to show the business undergirding of every last one of them. Yeah. So, and there's a business undergirding of every ministry, because it has to support itself somehow. So thank you for sharing that.
If we don't want to, if we want to use another term, as far as the business side, there's like resource allocation, if we want to say that, as for business, because if no matter what field you're in, there has to be resources to sustain your activity. Just like the human body needs oxygen, water, and food to sustain its activity. If you're going to have a ministry of something that does anything, it's going to need resources to sustain its activity. And so even though I'm in arts and culture, there is a business and financial side of it.
Right, yes.
It enables us to do events and programs like the iftars that we just did. And I don't know whether you got a chance to announce the upcoming Eid feast this Saturday.
Right, go ahead and give us that information.
Oh, all praise due to Allah. You know,
yes, sir. That's what we do. Promote.
Every able-bodied man, woman, and adolescent child should be fasting in the month of Ramadan. And at the end of Ramadan, we have a big gathering where we eat and celebrate the success of Ramadan. It's called Eid al-Fitr, which is the end of Ramadan feast. And this year we're doing it at the Reverend James L. Orange Park in Atlanta on Saturday, June 8th. Do you have the flyer in your thing you could put on the screen, Brother Jaheem?
I don't think Sister Sandy has it. Let me see if I can pull it up. I'll try to pull it up before the end of the show.
Okay. I will shoot it to you just so you have it and you can forward it to them. But that is this Saturday from 2 to 7 p.m. We have indoor and outdoor space. So I know when an email went out, a lot of people thought, okay, bring your own tents, bring your own chairs, or we're going to be outside in the sun. Well, we do have outside, but there is inside space also. We have the rec center at the park that we have full access to for the whole time. It's air conditioned. You don't have to do a porta potty. There's inside restrooms, and there will be an inside space. So that's this Saturday at the Reverend James L. Orange Park in Atlanta, Georgia. And I just forwarded you the email. Hopefully you can get that.
Okay, yes, sir. And for those who are in the Atlanta area, you may not be familiar with that name of James L. Orange. He was a dynamic organizer in Atlanta, but it's the old Oakland City Park right there at Oakland Drive and Hamilton Road near the Oakland City train station. So you can literally, it's a block up the street from the Oakland City train station. So if you're on the MARTA, you can take the train there as well. It's only a block walk. So that's this Saturday, June the 8th. At Reverend James L. Orange Park in Oakland City in Atlanta. So yeah, we'll try to pull that up. Brother Kalanji, put that on the screen so people can see it. Any other event that you have coming up? Now, you're gonna be with us all month, so we're gonna really delve into your business acumen. And I've seen you operate. I've heard you speak several others. Okay, brother is on to something major. So I know you have a lot to share on the business side too. With the business scientists.
Oh, yes, sir. So we have Brother Kalanji. He's up and ready because
yes, sir.
We don't want
this brother.
I'll be with you all month, so I gotta be with you all month. So I got time.
Yes, sir.
We want to get our guests on so we can share with us what they're doing in the community and arts and culture.
Absolutely, fantastic. So as the business scientist, you may be. I know you will have a chance to hear him. I don't know why he won't turn the camera on. But we have a brother that I've known for a long time now. Man, I'm trying to think, Kalanji, how far we go back? About 14, 15 years, I believe. I met him organizing. I don't know if you remember this, but I met Brother Kalanji. He was part of POCC, Political Organizing Committee. That was, I'm missing a C, but it was started by Brother, what's the Black Panther brother that they murdered? Fred Hampton Jr. Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. Yeah. Brother Eric Touré had brought Fred Hampton Jr. into Atlanta for a series of speaking engagements. So we got a chance to build with young Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. And one of the things about a quick backdrop, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan had announced in January of 2005, maybe February 2005, about the Millions More movement that was going to be in October of 2005. And at the event that he announced that, young Chairman Fred was sitting behind Minister Farrakhan. So when Minister Farrakhan announced it, young Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. jumped up and gave the black fist. Like, yeah, we down with this. And then the following month, they're in Atlanta. So we bring him by the mosque, and Brother Kalanji was with him on his security detail. And we will subsequently run into each other, and everything black going on in the community in Atlanta. Brother Kalanji is there. He was there. So we would always see each other, became very good friends, building on the community on various levels. He is known as the organizer. He wrote a book called Organizing is the New Cool. And he's been marketing that book profusely, because it's not just he wrote the book. He is the epitome of one who's in the street. Let me give this real quick story about when I realized I had known Kalanji for a while, but I didn't realize how powerful he was until this event happened. Here in Georgia, the state executed a young brother by the name of Troy Davis. Troy Davis was accused of killing a police officer in Savannah, Georgia. All the witnesses redacted their testimony because they said they were coerced. Yet the state of Georgia still decided to execute our brother. Brother Kalanji organized a protest, and we were meeting at Woodruff Park in downtown Atlanta to march to the state capitol. Now, me and a couple of brothers that were with me, we got there kind of early. So we stand around, and we began to see all these other people show up, but not realizing they were there to march as well. And, we saw, just various types of people. And when Kalanji rolled up on the scene, everybody just like came together. Like, wow, all of these people are waiting on Kalanji. I'm sorry, brother. I didn't know you were that powerful until that day. And we made our trek from Woodruff Park to the state capitol, where you convened that particular march. And he's done subsequent actions like that in the community, always on the scene when things are going on, but not just when things happen. Brother Kalanji is on the scene prior to. He has a very strong ties in the community. So anybody that you need to reach, you need to touch, he's working with the youth. And this weekend, I'm glad to have him on, because this weekend, his organization is celebrating their 15th year, 15-year anniversary. He has an organization called Feed the People. So they would get together, he and his crew, they make some sandwiches themselves, fund it themselves, and just go out and just pass out brown paper bag sandwiches to those that were in need. So Mind and Money Matters live show, we are honored to welcome back to Master Science of Business's Mind and Money Matters live show. He's been on with us before when we were doing the conference call platform, and now he thinks we still are doing the conference call platform. But welcome back to Mind and Money Matters live show, Brother Kalanji Jamachenga. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
What's going on, Brother Johnny?
Man, I'm honored. We're doing fantastic by Allah's grace. We're honored to have you back with us. I know you're traveling. You got a lot of things that you're working on, but we just wanted to have you on and talk about organizing. It's a new cool. You're on the cusp of the arts and culture movement here in Atlanta as well. I forgot to mention, I remember when you and your group were on the cover of Creative Loafing. I'm like, wow, Kalanji's on the cover of Creative Loafing? That was phenomenal, brother. So we're glad to have you back so you can talk about what you got going on.
Man, how's everybody doing, man? It's always an honor to be in the midst, brother.
Doing well, sir.
Cool. Y'all got to forgive me. I'm traveling, so I can't do the camera thing right now. But,
okay, I was thinking you didn't want nobody to see the orange jumpsuit and the handcuffs.
Oh, nah, man, we passed that, brother. You might see me helping some folks with orange jumpsuits and handcuffs get out.
Right. True liberation, right?
Yeah. I'm not down with those short stays or long stays.
Yes, sir. Yeah, understood.
Is my audio clear enough? I'm not sure if you can hear me well.
Can y'all hear? Brother Kalanji?
I can hear him well. It sounds good.
Yes, sir. You're coming through good, brother.
Excellent. Man, again, I appreciate it. It's always an honor to be in the midst with Jahi. Anyway, Jahi is like I'm trying to think a proper term for him. I want to say Mansa Musa. I want to say Tutankhamun. You know what I mean? But I just say one of the followers of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. You know what I mean? He's a prime example, always on point, you know, and it's always an honor to be in your midst, brother.
Oh, praise due to Allah. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. So
So, so,
15
so,
years ago.
so would you say he's the Imhotep of talk?
Man, look here, man, listen.
The
That brother so smooth,
multi-genius of
man.
communication.
Man, listen, he off the chain, man. I remember one time he was telling me how to get my money. I said, man, when a cat can tell you how to get your money, you might want to listen, right? He's telling me I was undercharging myself. And for the record, man, I've been overcharging for what they did at the Ruba ever since, brother. So, I don't care where it's at. I work for the people. You know what I mean? My oldest daughter's gonna be 30 years old this month. You know what I mean? So it's a new day on the plantation.
Wonder. Okay. You say your daughter be 30?
30 years old, brother. Yes, sir.
Wow. Oh, wow. Okay. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
No doubt. We rumbling. A lot of times folks see me. I just look like I'm wet behind the ears. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Word.
Good deal. So 15 years ago, you decided to organize and bring a group of people together. And here we are. Did you think that 15 years later that you would be doing this type of celebration? Please fill us in on what it is.
Okay. Well, basically, my background is organizing. Way before I ever came to Atlanta, I was born into an organizational family. You know what I mean? So I go back a few generations of freedom fighters. But most folks, they know me from when they met me. So, we operate on that. When I first came to Atlanta was 15 years ago. It was actually the second time I came to Atlanta. I actually lived in Atlanta, went to high school out here, MD Collins High School, my junior year of high school, back in 1986, I believe. And then I left and returned. When I returned was, like I said, 15 years ago. And I was a part of the Prisoners of Conscience Committee, as you mentioned earlier, the POCC. I was the chief coordinator under our good brother, Chairman Fred Jr. The FTP movement was something that I had started back in 2001. And basically it formed as a hip hop group. So it wasn't the FTP movement yet, it was FTP. So I formed this hip hop group for the sole purpose of building a movement, because we know oftentimes you have a lot of artists who have followers, but they're not connected to bringing that funk, you know what I mean, to get folks on the right side of history. So we had, there's groups like X-Clan, who was down with Black Watch, and the Nation of Islam was affiliated with the Public Enemy affiliated with the Nation of Islam. You had so many other brothers and sisters, but I wanted to start something who's with the whole purpose and position of moving the crowd literally, so we started this hip hop group. It didn't go as planned, but we continued on, and the movement itself was born in 2004. So 15 years ago, June 9th, 2004, we started our first program out here. It was the Feed the People program. Mind you, I moved to Atlanta May 31st of 2004. So from there, I hit the ground running, started building with a number of good folks from different formations. And we decided that Atlanta had some space for the FTP movement. And, it's been on and popping from there. So 13 years ago, we began to highlight our journey, some of the programs, initiatives, campaigns, and some of the other freedom fighters that we met along the way. So we began to highlight, and after 13 years of production, we've been blessed with the honor of having our screening on this Saturday, June 8th at 4:30 p.m. over at the Plaza Theater. So we'll be commemorating our 15-year anniversary of the FTP movement, which will be on June 9th, but we'll be celebrating on June 8th with the showing of our film, and also with the with an art show we have coming up later on that evening.
Now that's quite the culture right there. So how long is the film, and what is the film documenting?
Okay, so we're looking at a 90-minute piece, and again, it's documenting our work, but also beyond us, we have a number of different freedom fighters, past and present, We have at least a half a dozen of the folks that we have in our film are now ancestors. Actually, a little bit more than that. We have everybody from Baba Herman Ferguson to the Last Poets to Amiri Baraka, Daruba Ben Wahad. We have Muhammad Ahmed, formerly Max Stanford from RAM, and so many other folks. So it's a powerful journey in documenting of of movement work and activism, and why we think it is the new cool.
Oh, fantastic! I think we got your flyer up. So,
Yep.
business scientists, I think you should be able to see that. OITNC organizing is the new cool at the Plaza Theater documentary screening this Saturday, June the 8th, from 4:30 p.m. to 7. And Plaza Theater is on Ponce de Leon.
Yes, sir.
And afterwards, and where's the art show?
Now the art show, we have an art show over at the Westview Makerspace, which is in the west end of Atlanta. A point of contact would be a few doors down from Slutty Vegan. I'm sure all the folks know where that's at. You know what I'm saying? So we have over 35 different artists that we've been working with throughout the years. You know.
Wow. And
free.
What? Free?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The art show free. Now you show up for the documentary, it's a fee.
Yes, sir.
You take the R out for the documentary.
Oh yeah, and the thing that we find out too, that we know in all of the events that are going on around here, especially those uh, of us that are doing it in the conscious community, if you will, liberation
Yes.
community, even the fees are so small, it's so nominal that what us not supporting is actually sinful. If we're not supporting these events, it's not like it's
Right.
hitting us in the pocket. I had the brother on. I'm not sure if you saw brother Al Rutherford. They do conference planning and management. Every conference that I have attended and worked, the minimum price for registration is $699. Now, if you're a
Right on.
student, you may be able to get away with $199, but that depends on when
Right.
you register. But so my point is, none of our things ask for that kind of investment.
Right.
So I'm saying that for all of those who are listening and watching and will be watching and listening, is to support organizations, support events like Brother Kalanji, support events like brother Albert does, and others of us that are out here in the community. Because Sister Sandy, she has an event going on twice a month. She's not charging you $499. I mean $499. Not yet. But eventually she will get to that point where her time being such a demand, she will only be able to take those who are willing to make that investment. But until that time comes, the nominal investment, and that's how we keep the money circulating, so that now you're able to do even more, highlight more cultural activities. So again, Brother Kalanji, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule. Any of
I
our
have a
friends from
question.
Baltimore coming down, or from
We
Florida coming up?
I see a whole lot of folks look like they sneaking in. You know what I mean? I've been
Okay.
seeing certain things or whatever, seeing certain signs, and folks
Okay.
whisper loud. So I think we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have a number of different people that we know and love. You know what I mean? And I gotta say that I'm absolutely, when I say that I'm grateful for you and all the brothers and sisters from number 15 in Atlanta, 15B, and 41 in Bridgeport, Connecticut, where I'm from, and number 7 out in Harlem or whatever, and and brother Tony Muhammad them out in LA, and so many folks, brother Mustafa up in Chicago. You know what I mean? We are very grateful because of the fact that, see, what happens is a lot of times, again, like I said, when we meet a person, it's our first introduction. We've been working with the nation and so many other different formations for decades. I'm not a new organizer. 15 years ago, the FTP movement started. You know what I mean? I'm a continuation of this. Like I said, I'm 48. I'll be 49 in December. I've been on movement all my life. You know what I mean? So
Yes, sir.
anybody that put this work in, they know what time it is. It ain't no,
Oh,
it's
yes,
not
sir.
about, you might meet a cat on a raft. You know what I mean? That don't mean he's a sailor. You understand what I'm saying? He get to another point. You understand what I'm saying? So, I'm
Look,
grateful.
I'm
Brother
gonna produce
Jahi,
an event.
Brother Jahi,
I'm gonna produce an event. Yes.
I apologize. In relation to that, I just wanted to ask Brother Kalonji a question, which in this type of when you're working in this type of arena, that has to be something that motivates you, almost like I can't remember his name, Brother Jahi. You would remember him. They say you have to want it like you want your next breath. What is it that motivates you? Because this is not for the meek and the mild doing it what it is
Yeah.
that you're doing. What is it that when you wake up in the morning, what is that thing that inspires you to say, I'm gonna keep doing this to my last breath? Because that's what I get from listening to you. What is that
Yeah.
motivation?
Well, Che Guevara said revolution is an act of love. And if you're in love with your people, then it's a part, it's a way of life. You know what I mean? It's just like what you all do in a nation. You know what I mean? You have certain things that are part of your routine. General orders are your general orders. These are things that you have to carry out, regardless of whom or what. It's not like, oh, I'm on a job right now, so I can't, you know what I'm saying? General order number 9 don't count. No, it's you on the job all the time. It's your way of life. You don't say I don't eat pork on Thursdays. You know what I'm saying? You don't eat pork, period. It's not I don't eat white pigs. I don't eat pigs. You know what I'm saying? This pig's dark, so it's cool. I look at our ancestors. I look at all the freedom fighters that came before us. You know what I mean? I knew my great grandmother. You know what I mean? My great
Wow.
grandfather was a brother who was a freedom fighter down in the Florida region. He was a Seminole. You know what I mean? So I'm doing it for us. You know what I mean? I'm doing it for those who made it across, made it through the middle passage and got us to where we at. It's baton time. You know what I mean? We didn't just, Brother Jai, he didn't just get comfortable one day and say, look, I'm gonna start this show. Some people got bust in their head for years and decades, you know what I'm saying, before we was even allowed to speak. You know what I mean? So
Right.
we don't take for granted anything. So the motivation is the fact that I've been allowed to have physical space on this planet during this time period. You know what I mean? So it's like my mortgage. This is my rent. This is what I got to do. I got to pave the way for those who come after me. So that's the motivation. I have grandchildren right now. You know what I mean? My oldest grandchild is 12 years old. So I can see him. I can mold him right now. I can make him who I need him to be. I got him on track. So it's beyond, we got to be so selfless that we eliminate the selfishness. You know what I
Wow.
mean? So it's beyond me. It ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm just here. I just happen to show up at this place, this space and time. I have a job. I heard the minister talking one time back in the day. He was talking about, you have to deliver the message. The message was on delivering the message. He said the mailman, if it's raining, if it's snowing, if it's a hurricane, he got to deliver. They ain't got nothing to do with it. I got a bellyache this morning. My car low on gas. No, this is your job. You have to deliver. So this is what that motivation is. It's nothing deep. It's not me reading the book one day or a light bulb coming on or me tripping over a white man's toe. It's just that this is in my soul, in my spirit. This is in my DNA. So this is all I know how to do.
I love it. Thank you so
Love
much for sharing that, because a lot of our young listeners, we have business owners, we have young people who are a part of our team. Is Sister Anissa Muhammad, who's a college student, and I mean we have some phenomenal young people on our team, and to hear you speak like this, is very is very liberating,
Right.
and I consider you to be young still, you know, and to still
I
to have
consider me
this.
to be young as well.
That's right, and to still have this fire like you have. I mean, it's phenomenal. A lot of times we'll hear people in the media saying, well, where are the freedom fighters of the day? We don't have them like we had them back in Martin Luther King time, or Malcolm X time, or what have you. So it's very refreshing to hear that. No, we do have them. And a part of this program is to get the word out. If you have not heard about Brother Kalonji, now you have, and know that the fight still goes on. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, and thank you for it's a Monday. You could have been doing whatever you wanted to in the world, but y'all here rapping with me. You know what I mean? And I know it's a whole lot of phenomenal people that you could be speaking to. So I am honored. I don't take anything for granted. I'm in the middle of I'm on a road in the middle of a meeting right now. I just walked out, and they think I'm crazy because it's like everybody's talking or whatever. And the brother that was running his mouth, he think I'm just walking out because of him. But I wouldn't miss the opportunity to speak with family. You know what I mean? And my request.
Oh, we appreciate that, brother.
Brothers and sisters out. Yes, invite brothers and sisters out.
Brother Kalonji.
Yes, sir.
Just a question on the upcoming filming that you have, the showing. Yes. Organizing is the new cool.
Yes. And
you chose to use ants on the poster for it. And we know yes, the book of Proverbs asked us to study the ant, thou sluggard, and grow wise.
Absolutely.
Give us some of the background. And we're in a society where everything is stressed on individualism, narcissism, and individual achievement. What could you say to us, or what is your approach in a society operating in an environment that we operate in where everything is on the me? How do you approach it now in 2019 versus 15 years ago? Because this shift of this narcissist, selfie, Snapchat, Instagram, everything is about how I filter myself and how I almost create an idol of myself for my online image. How do you organize with the people that have been socially engineered like that?
Well, the thing is, this is there's nothing new under the sun.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's always been gluttony. There's always been individuality. There's always been egotism. You know what I mean? It came out the Caucasus Mountains. You know what I mean? We know that ever since these calcified bastards who forgot where they came from, ever since they stepped on the scene, they brought discord, they brought discomfort. They came to destroy. So we recognize that. So the thing is, we know that they're going to introduce tools for us to highlight our insanity. You know what I mean? Social media is the gift and the curse. You know what I mean? It's a psychological profile. You can look at a cat's profile and you can see how much attention they require for the day. It's a drug of choice. You understand what I'm saying? So selfie is selfish. They need you to see, look at me, smell me, feel me, touch me. I'm great. You know what I mean? You have people that that online, they look like, man, like they got Oprah money. You know what I mean? And every time you see them, they begging you for $1. You know what I mean? But online, they front. It's a psychosis. It is a mirror for the world to see, and it is a tool of destruction. They say a wise man utilize all tools. We got to be careful. We got to do like Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, and how to eat to live. We got to take it into moderation. You know what I mean? It don't mean that you don't have to put it all the way down, but you got to be able to control it, because whatever you can't control controls you. The ant is our logo. Our logo is the Siafu ant. Our movement is the Siafu movement. You know what I mean? Siafu ant is out of Kenya. It is an ant that builds bridges. They're blind. They grow up into an inch. But they're also known as stripped down water buffaloes. When I first came up with that particular logo, it was because I was watching the Discovery Channel and I saw a frog jump into a patch of Siafus in East Africa. Within 15 minutes, there was no evidence that the frog came through, let alone that he existed. You know what I mean? I'm talking about they ate them up. You know what I mean? They're small, but they're wise enough to work together. That is why it's a surah in the Quran. You know what I mean? So the ant is small, is humble. It's also looked at as weak. It's looked at as meek. But they understand the science of life. They understand that they have to work together in order to achieve the goals that's necessary. You know what I mean? We have to get to that understanding. You know what I mean? We want to be lions and panthers and gorillas and all that. That sounds good in theory. But when you got a white pig beating you down, you're a hell of a cowardly lion, man. You know, so we have to be able to, start off as humble as possible and work our way out. My book is called How to Build a People's Army. You know what I mean? And We say the Siafu is the people's army.
Wonderful. I just learned something listening to you.
You too. I never knew that. All these years, I'm knowing you, Brother Kalonji. I never knew that.
Was named after a Siafu ant. That is awesome.
Yes, and I had never heard and the Siafu ant you say is blind.
Yes, they're blind. They have they don't have any venom, but they have strong jaws. And like I said,
right, and they work together in a collective manner.
I mean, they literally build bridges for each other to go across. You know what I'm saying? It's not just some, you know, it's not a slick sound bite. It's not me promoting a couple bugs or whatever. You know what I mean? You know, it's science, it's life, it's beauty, and it's an example of the greatness that exists in creation that we overlook. We just get annoyed by up in the house. Lay your behind down in Kenya in one of them Siafu patches and see how annoyed you get.
Right, right. Wow, that's thank you for sharing that. You know, with that comment you just made, I thought about it. The event that I'm going to produce this year is going to be a comedy show featuring Kalonji Jamachanga, Albert Muhammad, and Professor Griff.
Hey, Albert looked like he got jokes. You know
oh my God! Oh my goodness! Y'all would have a ball feeding off of each other. Brother Albert, he asked where you from.
Oh, I'm originally from born in Maryland, right outside DC, Silver Spring.
Okay. We know you's north of the southern border, so that's all good. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I came in right below the Mason-Dixon line.
It's all good, man. You found a way, though. It's all right.
Yes, sir.
It's all right. Just don't hang with Griff and Jahi too much.
That'll be great. Oh man, Kalonji, thank you so much, brother. Get back into that meeting before the brother so you don't look at your cross-eyed too much longer. You have to. So why did he get up and walk out when I started talking?
Yeah, before they be agreeing on stuff that ain't gonna happen.
Right.
I appreciate it.
Jahi, could you put the flyer for his event back up real quick?
Sure. Your flyer is coming up, brother Kalonji, before you go. And inshallah, I will see you this weekend. It's gonna be a busy weekend, but that's what we do.
Hey man, that's our job. But
yes,
for the folks that's on Instagram, it's Organizing is the New Cool. That's the page to follow to get all information.
All right.
Right on. Y'all be safe. May Allah reward you for your work.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother.
May Allah bless you and protect you all out there. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
All right, now we business scientists. We have a busy weekend here in Atlanta, so get your pen and paper out, your calendar, and mark these events. You have Organizing is the New Cool documentary screening at Plaza Theater, 4:30 p.m. to 7 o'clock p.m. But before you go there, you want to stop by Reverend James Orange Park in Oakland City and come out with your brothers and sisters. Eid prayer starts at 2 o'clock p.m. and the celebration begins at 3. So you get a chance to eat some food and fellowship before you go off to see the documentary. And come back to the park, and then afterwards you go to the art show in the West End. So the flyer is up for the Eid Al-Fitr 2019. And that starts at 2 o'clock. Prayer time is at 2 o'clock p.m. on Saturday, June the 8th. So there you have it. It's been a phenomenal show. Man, it's been information packed. Thank all of you.
Yes, this has been, oh my God. And we made it through, Sister Shireen. Oh my God.
Where did she go?
Sister Shireen is in Jekyll Island, Georgia at a conference. Ooh. And her conference started right at the time of the show. So that's what she did.
Where they started the Federal Reserve Bank?
Oh, listen, yeah, you know, right. Look, all of us that got on the show talked about that. Yes, but down there, she's in the very hotel that the bankers met in 1911 and drafted up they met it in secret. and drafted up what we now know today as the Federal Reserve. Yes, that's where she is.
Yes. Yes,
Yep.
yes, yes.
So
Thank you
those of
so
you
much.
who listen, who know that Sister Shireen is always here, make sure you go to agrichild.com. That's
That's right.
AGRICHILD, agrichild.com. Sister Shireen is the nation's most prolific and profound children's book writer. She has a new book out, Sweet Khadijah, The
Yes,
Kindest Makes All Things Sweet. That's a must-have book for your child, especially if you have a little girl. Go to Agrichild, AGRICHILD, and you can see the plethora of books that she has on the market. Little Sweet Khadijah, I Am the Seed of Greatness.
yes.
Um,
Little
uh,
Elijah.
well, with Little Elijah, and Why I Wear My Headpiece,
Yes.
and also the
Listen.
company apparel that you can get with all of that. And she's coming to a city near you this summer.
Yes, yes.
She just left Raleigh yesterday. She was up in Raleigh, North Carolina, with Minister Ava Muhammad and brother Donnie Muhammad of Torchlight Academy. And today she's in Jekyll Island, Georgia. So she's on her book tour. And if you're interested in bringing her to your city or any of us to your cities, just give us a call, 404-438-3156. Leave a message on the office number, or you can email us at MTSOBE. That's M as in money, TSOBE at gmail.com with your request, and we will gladly and expeditiously get back with you. So again, thank you all so much for joining us. Make sure when you watch this broadcast that you listen to it, you like it if you like it, make comments, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel so that we're able to get this information out to even more people, so that those who are on the show can reap the benefits, as so many on the show have talked about. Brother Albert was able to get more business. All praise is due to Allah. Brother Kalanji able to get more business after being on the show. So we thank you all for the support. That's what it's all about. So that's it for me, Sister Sandy. So, any closing words? Or Brother Albert, any closing words?
Oh, no, sir. We'll see y'all next week, same time, and we'll get it a little smoother next week.
Oh, praise is due to Allah.
Yes, sir. And Brother Albert, did you want to leave any of your information as
Oh,
well?
yes, yes,
Oh, yeah,
yes.
To
You
their
got the
everybody can reach out to me.
transportation.
My phone number is 757-573-2451. Again, 757-573-2451. We're working on a website for the Southern Regional Ministry of Arts and Culture. So that'll be coming soon. We have to get this ministry up and rolling into a fully blown organization. So hopefully we'll have the website up in the next month and start putting content up.
Fantastic.
To Allah. Yeah, that's it for me, Brother Jahi. I'm just
All right,
ministering
wonderful.
to it. Looking forward for my sister to come back to do her beautiful, how she does it. Nobody can do it like her. We made it through. We're thankful that you all were patient with us. And we look forward to see you next week in the month of arts and culture. Love you
All
all.
right.
Peace
We're
and
about to
love.
have Brother Shams. Brother Shams from the Bronx, from the Boogie Down Bronx, will be our guest next week. One of our guests next week. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Wa alaikum salam.